Interviews make us uncomfortable. Doesn't matter which end of the interview you are on, the feeling is the same. Interviews are a test not only of our knowledge and skills, but also our personality, our past decision making, and requires a physical, verbal, and nonverbal presentation of ourselves that we hope the other person will find acceptable. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why be uncomfortable? The author, Jason Reynolds, states, "Be not afraid of discomfort. If you can't put yourself in a situation where you are uncomfortable, then you will never grow. You will never change. You will never learn." We do it to learn. I am Bill Perkins, a student who has spent the last 2.5 years learning the technical skills needed for a career in IT and networking. Books and lectures have taught me a lot, but they didn't teach me what the average pay is, what benefits are available, the culture, what is a future boss looking for, and many other valuable insights that can only be gathered together through interviewing. You need to interview someone already working where you want to be. I interviewed 3 people who currently lead IT departments, 2 at local school districts and 1 at a local community government. Now, I'd like to share with you 2 pieces of information that I learned in the process, as well as 2 thoughts about interviewing. First, the information I wanted most was, how do I get a job working in a small local government agency? How does such an agency find its staff? What skills were they specifically looking for? And how often do those jobs become available? What I discovered was that because these institutions offer a more set job expectation and role, along with really good benefits, especially for retirement, most people do not leave these jobs once they have them. They will either stay until they retire, possibly move up within the agency, or they may make a lateral move to a similar agency working at another area. The pay rate is less working for these agencies than it is in the private sector, but the job stability and benefits are very attractive to many people. The average turnover rate appeared to be 1 person every couple of years. This is what I hope to hear. At 52 years of age, I want a job that is straightforward, even boring, and very stable. I expected that the turnover rate would be low because of the benefits with vacation, insurance, and retirement. I also found out that networking with the heads of the IT departments in these agencies is very important when it comes to trying to find a job, because they actually share job applicants amongst themselves. So if you become well known amongst a group of these leaders and heads of the IT departments within school districts, within small local governments, they'll actually share your information with each other. Second, I was surprised to find that the IT departments in these agencies are under the control of the finance department. Almost all IT departments and organizations, corporations, and agencies are under the ultimate leadership of the person in charge of the finance department, the chief financial officer. This is because the IT department originally started in many companies as providing equipment and support to the finance department. As IT expanded its role into every aspect of every company, they left them in the finance department most often because the CEO or the head of the company found the technology confusing, and it was easier for them to understand it when it was presented to them in a basis of cost. What is the dollar's cost for this and that, rather than what is the benefit of that technology? This means that the IT department is run a lot like a finance department, and it also explains why there is so much emphasis on learning how to make presentations that quantify the benefits of IT through cost analysis terms. By not letting my discomfort get in the way of doing the interviews, I learned more about the job I wanted and where I wanted to work. I also learned the following 2 things about interviews. The best one is this: both sides are uncomfortable. The people I interviewed were also nervous and found themselves at times having to really think to find an answer. The body language and vocal hesitation of one interviewee showed that he was more nervous than I was. They were impressed by my questions and wanted to know how I came up with them. I think this is because even they find interviewing someone to be hard to do, and to come up with good, well-organized questions can be a little bit hard for us. Remember that the person interviewing is probably as uncomfortable as the person being interviewed. I felt a little uncomfortable to begin with when I was interviewing them. Interviews, though, are a conversation between 2 people, and both sides are trying to make a good impression. The more information you can learn about the organization before you get to sit on that end of the table and be interviewed, the better prepared you are to answer those questions and to ask your own. The last thing I learned later, after I thought about it, I wondered, if an interview is a conversation and if both sides are uncomfortable, why is there usually just one person answering the questions, and why does it have to be the person wanting the job? The answer is that it doesn't have to be. I just asked potential employers a lot of questions and found myself actually having a good time doing it because I was in control of the situation. So go on the offensive. Get them to answer your questions about the company. Do your research and ask questions you know the answer to so that you can use that to move into stories about yourself that present you in the best light. Turn their questions back on them. If they ask, what is your greatest professional challenge? Give a short answer like, making presentations, so I took some communication classes. Now, what are the company's greatest challenges currently? Decide what it is you want them to know about you and your experience, and find a way to work those points into the conversation as a story. Be polite, courteous, curious, and use the interview to showcase you. Being uncomfortable is just a part of life. Anytime we step into the unknown, it is uncomfortable, but doing so can teach us many things. Jason Reynolds was right. I did learn and grow. I learned about IT departments and local government agencies, and more importantly, I learned about interviews and how I can shape them. I learned that I do not have to be uncomfortable. We have and we will do many more interviews in our lives. It's just a conversation, a way to share information and get information. And the best thing you can do is have fun with it and take control of the conversation. Get the answers to the questions that matter to you, and then lead that conversation in a way that lets you tell the stories you want them to hear. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.